Doomsday experts battle nuclear terror. The United States government has developed a set of technologies that would enable it to determine the origin of a nuclear weapon used in an attack against the United States, according to a new book on America's nuclear experts or detectives. And in the event of such an attack, U.S. officials believe they could determine where the fissile material used in the nuclear weapon originated, as well as who carried out the attack. Not only can intelligence help prevent a nuclear terrorist attack, but also in the event one occurs, it may be able, theoretically, to identify the entity or parties responsible and those who contributed, particularly by providing a bomb or components. Said the Nuclear Emergency Search Team, N.E.S.T, N.E.S.T, America's Bomb Hunters. This is important because U.S. officials believe the most likely nuclear attack would involve an established nuclear power providing either a nuclear device or components to a terrorist group, or possibly real terrorists could get a hold of one another way. They could buy it or perhaps just take it. Finding out which nuclear power provided these items to the terrorists would be key in crafting an appropriate U.S. response. And earlier this month, a congressionally mandated task force reported that terrorists were likely to strike a major U.S. city with weapons of mass destruction before 2013. It added, in our judgment, America's margin of safety is shrinking and not growing. It's getting more likely day by day. U.S. officials want prospective terrorists and the nuclear scientists who may be tempted to help them to understand U.S. capabilities, denying them the certainty that they can attack without consequences. U.S. officials feel is critical to preventing an attack. An attack on the United States would trigger a series of reactions among those responsible for determining the weapon's origin. These efforts would be coordinated by the National Technical Nuclear Forensics Center, a little-known 3-year-old operation which works closely with an Energy Department team tasked with ferreting out nuclear explosives before they go off and developing nuclear forensics to unearth the origin of a weapon. U.S. officials would begin by determining the weapon's precise location with the help of Defense Support Program satellites, infrared spy satellites that detect heat sources, and Global Positioning System satellites, all of which carry nuclear detection packages that could, theoretically, help pinpoint any detonation. To gather nuclear debris, the key evidence in the detective story, a specially equipped Air Force WC-135 aircraft called Constant Phoenix would be deployed. The plane is a modified Boeing 707 that carries debris sampling and air sampling equipment as well as devices to track radioactive clouds. There is one problem with this part of the plan, though. There is only one WC-135 left, down from a Cold War total of 10. Energy Department officials have called for development of Predator-like drones to fill the gap. The debris would be analyzed and compared against a database of nuclear signatures which the United States has been gathering, or still is gathering, as part of its intelligence efforts on foreign powers. So then, with this information, the United States should be able to determine which country originally produced the highly enriched uranium or plutonium. The possibility of attribution stems from the fact that every nuclear device has distinct signatures. These include physical, chemical, elemental, and isotopic properties that provide clues as to what material was in the weapon and its construction. The shape, texture, and size of the material would determine the bomb's physical signature. The bomb's unique molecular components would determine the device's chemical signatures. The United States also should be able to determine in which type of reactor the plutonium was produced, what the operating conditions were, and its age, which would provide additional clues about its origins. The same would hold true for enriched uranium. There are enough signatures to suggest what kind of centrifuge or electromagnet was used to enrich the uranium to bomb grade. So then, by comparing the results of the initial analysis to a database of known reactor types or samples of HEU produced by different enrichment processes, forensic workers might possibly determine the origin of the material or at least narrow the field of viable suspects, eventually pinning the blame on the culprit with the assistance of additional intelligence and data. With all that in hand, the next step would be determining bomb efficiency, which in turn can help identify who designed the bomb. And that information could reveal who built it. Current computer programs can assist in debris management by estimating the pre-detonation isotope mixture, which when combined with data on the mixture after the detonation might make it possible to infer the efficiency of the bomb's design. So, theoretically, again, in turn, that could narrow down the bomb's origin and who may have helped. But, for example, if the bomb resembled the Hiroshima bomb, called a gun-type design, it would indicate the serious possibility that the device was made without assistance, because those designs have been in open source literature for decades. So then, the success of nuclear detective efforts is dependent on the intelligence community's ability to maintain a comprehensive and updated database. Otherwise, competence for the United States does not have samples to a country's nuclear DNA might make that country more willing to provide terrorists with a bomb or nuclear material. These kinds of high-tech anti-nuclear efforts are likely to get the attention of the incoming Obama administration. The Vice President, Joseph Biden, has pushed for more funding and more basic research. In 2007, he told the Wall Street Journal, "We need more nuclear forensics research, more scientists to analyze nuclear samples, and an assured ability, using our own aircraft or those of cooperating or other states, to quickly collect nuclear debris from the site of any attack in this country or around the world." Ironically, and perhaps very tragically, the nuclear forensics technologies are more advanced than those associated with nuclear detection. Unfortunately, despite the skill and determination of N.E.S.T personnel, it may be easier to determine who is behind a terrorist nuclear attack than to prevent it. Again, it may be easier to determine who is behind a terrorist nuclear attack than it is actually to prevent it. And that's kind of bad. And these are all more signs of the times, because the aforementioned story here, it becomes more possible every day, or day by day, because what's happening in Pakistan, Afghanistan, India, it's all connected there, and which is all connected to the end times transition days. And yes, there is a transition going on, and there are many, many signs. Once again, they are all around us.